Let's look at some action figures. Let's look at some action figures. Let's look at some action figures. We're going to do it now. Hey, it's Servo. I'm back.
I am Cheese.
And we are looking at Donatello from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you remember from the original cartoon, Donatello does machines, which always made me think that perhaps he copulated with mechanical devices.
Oh, jeez.
So we got a couple different versions here. We've got the 1998 KB Toys remake. Seen better days. Very well played with. We've got the 2020 reissue from one of the Comic-Cons. San Diego, maybe?
Yeah, this is San Diego Comic-Con.
I really should have wrote that down. So professional. And here is an import from 2022. And the main thing we're here to look at today is the 1988 Remastered series from 2024. This is a Walmart exclusive. It has all 4 figures, as you can see. And then all the bases combined and perform a nice little diorama. So we're going to look at each one of these individually. Today we're just looking at Donatello, but we will eventually look at the other 3 turtles. So this is pretty close to the original 88 figure. Coloring wise, posability, obviously the same old classic weapons tree. And then the 2020 reissue, there is a slight color change in his skin tone. It's more of an olive color. Other than that, do you really see any other difference between the two?
Not really.
They look pretty similar. So.
There's a little bit of a smudge difference in the skin tone and in the design of the D and his shell. That's
yeah. Oh, his shell on the front there.
Yeah.
It's a little brighter in that one. So his skin's a little darker, the front of his shell's a little brighter. So we're going to take this one out of the way for a while. And let's see, what do we got next? We have the import from 2022. It's about the same color as that 2020 exclusive we were looking at. And the shell's about the same color on the front. So I think, let me grab that one I just wandered off with that I shouldn't have wandered off with. So these two are pretty much the same. I don't really see any difference between the two.
Not really.
This one's a little brighter in the front than that one. Yes. Which is closer to... Oh, this one's kind of the in-between of those two.
Yeah, it's like that's the brighter, then it goes a little bit darker.
So if you didn't have all these in front of you, you really wouldn't see a difference. Same weapons tree, same basic accessories. They're just different little slight reissues. So the big deal that we're looking at today is the 1988 remaster. So they've added additional articulation to it. They've given you extra weapons. Of course, you get the base that interlocks with the other ones. And they've actually added a texture to the skin, which is really nice. So we're going to get a closer look at these. We will be right back. Now, this is a really old one from 1998, so we don't want to open this. It's very valuable. We don't want to take this knife, and we don't want to cut into patch. I'm kidding, I've already opened it. So you can't get mad at me in the comments. This was opened years ago when it was 1998, 1999, so it wasn't quite a collectible yet. So that's the original reissue figure. Now, had this been a vintage one, I wouldn't have ripped this thing open because I would have cried on camera.
I would have cried.
We all would have massively cried on camera. So there he is, and thanks to the magic of 3D printing, I made some bases for these. So, because they're a little squatty, it makes them a lot easier to stand up. And they're pretty nice. There we go. Pretty good looking figure for the time. Like I said, not much different than the original one. So technically this would have been a 10-year anniversary, so from 88 to 98. They did not bother to mark 10th anniversary on this anywhere. The main way you can tell is the original packaging did not have this warning choking hazard on it. And it also did not have, of course, website information, obviously. But the backing looks the same. The original story, the original profile card, very similar to like an old G.I. Joe figure. So there you go. So that's what you're looking at for your 10th anniversary. And there's one last look at this guy. He looks even better on camera than he does in person. All right, so now we have 2 of these, okay? And this is the one with the kind of beat up box. So we very carefully opened it. And we're going to get this out of the box, and we will be right back. All right, so I've got it out of the main box here. It has another box behind it that's containing your base plate. It's nicely tied in there with a piece of cardboard or thread or something. No, it's actually thread. So the nice thing is you'll be able to take that out without completely destroying it and probably be able to put that back in. So that's really nice. I think they really have the collector in mind with that one. All right, and then you've got the figure in the tray. You have some pieces here for the base plate. You've got a little vent pipe. What I think is maybe an air conditioning unit.
I see.
Right there, it's just a little gray box. So let's take a look back on the back of the box here. Yes, so
I see.
that goes behind him, and then the little vent pipe goes over there.
Okay.
So it's a nice detail to give you a base. I don't have to print out bases for these. So he has a little plastic strap across his chest here. It's got some little tabs. It might be possible to reuse that. I'm going to try and release him from the plastic here. Focus. And we'll be right back. So it's about 5 minutes later. This is tucked around the back, and it's under a lot of tension, pressure, whatever you want to call it. But if you really take your time, you can get it back through the hole, so you'd be able to put this back together. So a little bit of patience, maybe some minor cursing, and you should be able to get that. So we'll be right back. All right, so we finally got him out of here. Accessories. I flung this across the room trying to get the figure out, but we found it. So some differences. Well, similarities. Head moves the same. Don't like the lack of paint in that corner of the mouth. As you can see on the original, they actually did manage to paint some teeth in there. He has an arm swivel and your standard up and down arm. He has a hip that moves and his foot, but they're currently stuck in this kind of squatting position on the old ones. They don't sit down very well. On this one, you have a ball jointed shoulder. Finally, after all these years, we have a working elbow. We've got the old style hand that twists. We've also got a very nice hip joint that moves around. Finally, we have knees that bend. That's a first. The only difference I noticed is the knee pads are a little square because of that, compared to slightly square fabric-y look on the old one, but I'd much rather have bending knees, so that's not a problem for me. On the old one, the foot was pretty much static, did not move at all. On this one, they gave you a really nice swivel at the ankle. I tried the old base on this. Unfortunately, the feet are a little big, but as I said earlier, they do give you a base with it, so that's really not a big deal. That doesn't really matter too much. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Very similar system to the old one as far as the straps go. Like darn near identical. So keeping it pretty close to the original, just with some slight improvements. The weapons are much nicely colored. Instead of being a weird orange,
Oh yeah,
you actually have like a wood tone, and the wrapping is purple. Now, I was a little concerned because this didn't seem like it wanted to fit at first, but there's actually a little flex to the fingers that really did not exist on the original figures. And there's some flex to the bow staff too, whereas the old one was just a solid plastic. So you do have some room to play around with that. Accessory wise, you get the shuriken, of course, these things that we can't remember the name of right now. Like I said, the background pieces, and you have another bow staff that has maces on either end. I'm sure there's a specific name for that too, but I'm not up on my ninja weaponry at the moment. And body color wise, it's very similar to the 2020 and the 2022, a little darker than the original, but that's okay because you're still kind of got the olive green. And one of the best things I like is the actual texture that they've put on the skin. So these retail for about
$15.30.
$15.30 in the secondary market. I've seen them as high as $40 on the secondary market. If you can find them at a Walmart, I think I picked mine up for $12.97 plus tax. So definitely a deal or a steal at $13, but I would still pick them up at $30 or $40. They're really solid toys.
Yes, they are.
They come with a base. All the bases interlock. You have all 4 turtles. So yeah, I would say that's worth the money there. So there you go, guys. It's the 1988 Remaster Walmart exclusive from 2024, and we will be back soon with reviews of the other 3 turtles. Thank you for joining me, Cheese.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time, folks.